Yes. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita Study Circle. We are in 159th session and we are discussing chapter number 16. This is a very interesting chapter where Krishna is talking about the divine and demoniac qualities, right? And since we are trying to know what are the divine qualities, because our nature is divine, so that divine quality can be further enhanced when we actually know what are the divine qualities. Because when you know them in full and with clarity, then we'll be able to practice them with enthusiasm. Because if we are not aware of them, then there is no question of practice. So that is why we are discussing these very wonderful divine qualities as well as the demonic qualities for us to not practice. Right? But before we begin, let us chant the pranam mantras and then begin the session. So, welcome all of you, those who have joined on YouTube as well as on StreamYard. So, let's dedicate this session to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, and my beloved spiritual master. So, kindly join your palms and let's chant the pranam mantras. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyat Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Hare Krishna. So once again, welcome back all of you. So Dev, you can unmute yourself and we will chant the three verses before we begin the session. So let's chant all the three verses. Shri Bhagavanuvacha
श्रीभगवान् उवाच
Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir
अभयं सत्त्वसंशुद्धेर्
Jnana Yoga Vyavastitah
ज्ञानयोगाव्यवस्थितः
Okay, looks like there was some issue with the internet. Jnana Yoga Vyavastitihi
ज्ञानयोगाव्यवस्थितिः
Danam Damascha Yagnascha
दानं दमश्च यज्ञश्च
Swadhyayastapa
स्वाध्यायस्तप आर्जवम्
Ahimsa Satyamakrodha
अहिंसा सत्यमक्रोध
Tyagah Shantirapayishunam
त्यागा शान्तेरपैशुनम्
Daya Bhuteshwaloluptvam
दया भूतेष्व आलोलुप्त्वम्
Mardavam Rerachapalam
मार्दवम् रेरचापलम्
तेजः क्षमा धृतिः शौचम्
तेजः क्षमा धृतिः शौचम्
अद्रोहो नातिमानिता
अद्रोहो नातिमानिता
भवन्ति सम्पदं दैवीम्
भवन्ति सम्पदं दैवीम्
अभिजातस्य भारत.
अभिजातस्य भारत।
Wonderful. So, we have last time also discussed that how in these first three verses of this chapter, Krishna is explaining about 26 qualities that are divine. And in the last session, we had discussed two of these divine qualities, and the number one is Abhayam. Krishna started by talking about Abhayam. So it helps us to be free from all fear. Now, this is very important. See, when we are fearless, so what happens is our mind is peaceful by not thinking about the future. See, when you are having that fearlessness, then automatically what happens is you're not thinking about the future. So, in the sense, you're not worried about the future. So, you will not be disturbed by thinking about the future when there is abhayam. And we also understood there are sattvic fearlessness, rajasic fearlessness, and also tamasic fearlessness in the previous session. Then the second quality that we discussed was sattva samshuddhi. We understood that how sattva, which is also referred to the mind, so the purity of the mind. Sattva samshuddhi, when we purify the mind becomes available for spiritual endeavors. This is very important. So, why some sattva samshuddhi is required? Why we need to purify our mind? Because a pure mind is available for spiritual knowledge. Because those who are disturbed with so many wants and needs and desires, they don't really look after spirituality. They don't seek spirituality because their mind is seeking something else, right? But here, Sattva Samshuddhi Krishna is specifying because only when your mind is pure, only when the mind is fully clear out of all desires, that is when we actually are ready to receive the spiritual knowledge. Right? So, Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi is explained in the previous verse. So, now it is very important to know the next, which is very, very important. We have Lakshmi Mataji joining us on YouTube as well as Uma Natarajan joining us. Thank you so much for joining. So, you just see the next quality that Krishna is explaining is, see in this verse number one, Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir Jnana. The spelling is little slightly mistaken. So Jnana Yoga Vyavastitihi. So Jnana Yoga, very important. What is Jnana? Jnana means knowledge, knowing. No, when we have a clear cut understanding of oneself, about God and about this world, and also actually our relationship with God, when we have this clear cut understanding, that is called jnana, right? This is what we should know. Bhagavad Gita is telling us what? It is giving us jnana about what is permanent and what is non-permanent. Because when we actually understand what is non permanent, then you will become more interested in knowing what is permanent. Because our nature is we are always eternal, permanent. So, what are the things which are non permanent? That jnana helps us, knowledge helps us to discriminate. The three types of bodies that we have are non-permanent. What are the three types of bodies? The Stula Sharira, the Shukshma Sharira, the Karana Sharira, right? The gross body, the subtle body and the causal body. So I am not these things. I am different from these three types of bodies, right? We are not this five gross body which is made up of five elements. We are not the mind, intelligence, and the false ego. We are not also the causal ocean, which actually causal body, which actually creates this body. So we are different, something different from this. So I'm different. This is jnana. We are also not the five types of sheets that are actually covering us. This body is covered with five types of sheets, right? Coverings. I had explained in the previous one of the session that how the pancha koshas are there, right? There is this Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha. Then there is this Anandamaya Kosha. All these five coverings which are there are also, in a sense, not me. They are not me. I'm not these five coverings. I'm different from these five coverings. Then people also think about, oh, maybe there are three states. I'm in the Jagrata Avastha, there are Swapna Avastha, there is Shishupti Avastha. So these, I'm free from these three avasthas also. I'm something different from these avasthas. There is a state of awakening state, there is a dreaming state, and there is a deep sleep state. I'm none of these. I'm different from these, right? And this is knowledge. So, how do we get this knowledge? We get this knowledge from Guru and Shastra. Very important. Guru helps us to understand what is permanent and what is non permanent. Similarly, Shastras also, right? Now, when we hear from the Guru, when we hear from the Shastras, and then when we do Shravana and Manana, Manana means what? See, when we do Shravana, now you are listening to this session is actually giving you lot of information. Now, Shravana helps us to gain information. But when after the session, you go back and reflect upon all the information that you have gained, that is called Manana. So, when you actually do Mananam, then the clarity of thought comes. All the doubts will be vanished gradually. The deeper you do manana, reflect upon this knowledge, all that is spoken, then automatically you will become free from doubts. And that is very, very important state, because when we become free from doubts, we automatically become happy. Knowledge, one of the fundamental aspect or importance of knowledge is it makes us free from doubts, because a confused person cannot take right decisions. But when you are actually intelligent, when you are free from doubts, you take right decisions in life. That's why jnana helps, right? So jnana yoga vyavastitihi. So yoga means to actually experience the knowledge that you have gained. For example, now I may describe that the gulab jamun is looks like this, it tastes like this, it has this kind of a texture, right? And then I can also share the recipe with you, right? All this information I can share about the gulab jamun. But when you actually take all this information, do it yourself, and then when you actually taste the gulab jamun, then that is jnana yoga vyavastitihi. You have an experiential knowledge of the gulab jamun when you taste it. Similarly, in spiritual life also, when you actually gain all this knowledge and when you practice it, then you will get experiential knowledge. That is Jnana Yoga Vyavastitihi. But for all this to happen, our mind should be fearless. Our mind should be free from all the impurities. So when our mind is free from fear and when our mind is pure, then automatically it is available for receiving such a spiritual knowledge. Right? So why we are asking to do sadhana, chanting Hare Krishna mantra, waking up early in the morning. All this is to actually make our mind pure. Right? So this is Jnana Yoga Vyavastitihi. What is Krishna saying next now? Krishna is saying something very interesting in the next point, next quality, a divine quality that Krishna is speaking is Dhanam. Dhanam means charity. But this Dhanam, tapas, and yagna, Dana, tapa, yagna, is elaborately explained in the next chapter, in the 17th chapter. There are very beautifully Krishna has given what are the different types of danam, what are the different types of yagna and tapa. So there is sattvic danam, there is rajasic danam, and there is tamasic danam. All different types of there. All these things will be explained in the next chapter in detail. So danam we will keep it reserved. That divine quality we'll keep it reserved for our upcoming next sessions. Okay. So then the next quality is Dhamma. This is very, very important quality. We should know about Dhamma. Now, what is Dhamma? Dhamma means Indriya Nigraha. This is an important quality. Dhamma. See, we have the five senses, right? Now there are pancha jnanendriyas, then there are pancha karmendriyas. So there are five knowledge acquiring senses, five working senses. Very important to know. And when we have control over these senses, it is called tamaha. So in computer knowledge or in robotic knowledge, in their language, there are input devices, there are output devices. So the five karmendriyas are output devices, and the five jnanendriyas are input devices. See, eyes, we see, we gain knowledge. We hear, we gain knowledge. We taste, gain knowledge. Touch, we gain knowledge. So these are all input devices. Very important. So Dhamma means when I filter out all the good things from the world and negate all the negativities, automatically I am taking only that is good into my mind. Because all the pure things that we see around us, we take them. And when we reject all the wrong things, automatically what is happening? Our mind is pure. Because what you are feeding your mind, you are feeding only that which is sattvic. So when you have all this sattvic nourishment given to the mind, it automatically thinks or generates thoughts which are only sattvic in nature. So Dhamma means at the Jnanendriya level, you are filtering out all the nonsensical things of this world and taking only good things. Right? But there are so many advertisements in this world which are trying to project negativity. Either it might be the billboards or the news or the internet. It is filled with stuff which is all negative, which is only making our mind impure. So that is why Dhamma is important because the world is constantly bombarding with lot of negativity. So we should be intelligent and take only good things inside us. Very important. That is called the Dhamma at Jnanendriya level. But you see, in this world, there are good things, there are bad things. There are positive things, there are negative things. There are moral things, there are immoral things. Right? All these things are there. We need to filter out. Just like the swans. Shastras gives very beautiful example about this. Swans, hamsas, they have a quality. What is that quality? When you give them milk mixed with water, they take only the milk and they reject the water. Similarly, in this world, there are a lot of good things which are mixed with nonsensical things. So we should become like Hamsa, swans. We take only the good things and filter out the bad things. And those good things, when they are fed to the mind, it generates good thought automatically. Now, this is Dhamma at the input level. But now, Dhamma at the output level also. See, mind sometimes gets disturbed. And the mind is one which actually directs our karmendriyas. You do this, you hit this person, you speak something wrong, you hurt that person. All those things are happening at the mind level. So we should not allow the negativity of the mind to escape our panchindriya or the karmendriyas. We should not allow these negativities to escape into the world. Our mind is having some negative thoughts. We should not allow that to escape into the world. That is Dhamma. That means you are having the control over your thoughts. One is control over not allowing anything inside, at the same time, not allowing negativity to go outside of also. We should not take negativity inside and we should not let negativity go outside of us. Very important. This is called Damaha. We should have a fence at our mind. So that is Damaha at the Karmendriya level. We should fence our mind so that we don't allow the negativity which is there within us to spread into the world. Very important. Why I'm saying this? Because we are not actually pure at this moment. All of us, we should understand very clearly. We are not at a state that we are fully pure. We are only thinking that we should be pure and not take anything bad into us. But at the same time, the wrong which is there, negativity within us right now, should also not be spread into this world. Very important. That is the Maha. Then Krishna is saying the next quality after Dama is Yagnacha, that we are going to explain in the next, and Swadhyaya. Right? Now, Swadhyaya means study of the scriptures. Very, very important. The study of the scriptures means why we should do study of the scriptures? Because study of the scriptures helps us understand this world better, ourselves better, and the Lord. Now, study of the scriptures means there are two aspects to it. We can study it in two ways. One is Shabda Avritihi, means you chant the scriptures. Many people, they take the Bhagavad Gita and they chant all the 700 slokas continuously from morning till evening, whatever, they keep chanting the mantras, Vedic mantras. So they chant. This is called Shabda Avritihi, means you are actually chanting different mantras of the Vedas and the scriptures. Only chanting, no understanding. Though another aspect of Swadhyaya is Artha Avritihi. You chant, but at the same time, you also understand the meaning. So when you understand the meaning, then that Swadhyaya is complete. Chanting like a parrot is not enough. We should understand the artha. That is why we are human beings. Devotees should understand the meaning. Why we are chanting these shlokas and understanding? This is Swadhyaya. Bhagavad Gita Swadhyaya, study circle. Right? Bhagavad Gita study circle it is called. Why it is called study circle? Because we are studying, we are doing Swadhyaya. We are not doing only chanting. Mantra Ucharan is not happening here. Sloka Ucharan is not happening. We are doing that, but at the same time, Artha Avritihi. So Swadhyaya. So we are already engaging this quality, divine quality, we are already practicing. Right? From last 3 years, we are practicing very, very nice. So we should continue like this. Then the next quality, Swadhyaya, Arjavam. So this is very important. Arjavam means straightforwardness. Straightforwardness. Now, what is straightforwardness, Prabhuji? Straightforwardness means being straightforward means what? We should know this very, very important. Straightforward means that whatever I think, that will be spoken, and whatever I speak, I will perform the actions in sync to it. That means thoughts, my words, and my action are all in sync. This is called straightforwardness, or it is also called as rectitude. Very, very important. There is a Shubhashita, which says that Manas ekam vachas ekam karmanyam ekam sah mahatma. Manas anyam vachas anyam karmanyam anyam sah duratmaha. Very clear. Simple Sanskrit it is. Right? What is this saying? It is saying that a person who has manas ekam, whose mind is one, whose words are one, whose actions are one, he is called Mahatma. And a person whose words are anyam, different, and thoughts are different, and his actions are different, is a Duratma. So it is very clear for us to analyze now, am I a Mahatma or am I a Duratma? Prabhuji, I am a mixed person right now. I am a Mahatma and a Duratma for some. Sometimes I am a Mahatma, sometimes I am a Duratma. It is our condition, we should accept, right? Because our minds are so complicated, right? Very, very difficult to analyze. So now one very interesting thing is, suppose a point to catch is not so simple as we say. Suppose just imagine now, okay? What is that? There is a person whom you don't like, okay? And he comes to your home. You don't like that person, but he comes to your home. What will be your reaction? As per this principle, in your mind you're thinking that, oh, I don't like this person, so that means I should not use such words that this fellow will run away, and also my action should be such that I shoo away this fellow, right? As per this law of arjavam, straightforward. Prabhu, I'm very straightforwardness. I don't like this person, I'm openly on his face speaking something which will ask him to go away, and my actions also in such way that I don't even open the door for him, I just shut the door. As per this principle, we have to do so. And you may call yourself as being straightforward. Is this right? What do you say there? Is it okay, Hina Mataji? Being straightforward means like this: I don't like a person, so I don't allow this person to come inside. What do you say?
Prabhuji, we cannot survive like this in this world now. Straightforward doesn't help.
The straightforwardness doesn't help, but Krishna is asking us to be straightforward. You see, Krishna is asking us to be straightforward. Whatever you think, you should speak, and whatever you speak, you should act. So that's why it is said in Hindi में एक कहावत है, don't be a lakir ke fakir, they say, right? So just not that you read something and then you become a fakir. It's not like that.
Yes, Prabhu.
So thinking means of, there are two types. One is like, see, our mind always has a capability of liking and disliking. But there's another thinking that happens from the intellect, buddhi. Buddhi has the capability of thinking from the perspective of right and wrong. Mind thinks from like or dislike. I like this, I don't like this. Intellect thinks what is right, what is wrong. Right? So when a person comes to us and that person I don't like, now you may not like that person, but what does the Dharma Shastra say? He has come as an atiti, he has come as a guest. As a guest, I should use my buddhi and say, I should do the right thing. What is the right thing? Atiti Devo Bhava. Very difficult it is. You don't like that person, but Shastra is saying you treat him like God. It is a very big fight that goes on internally, isn't it? There is so much of conflict within us. Arjavam, not so easy. To be straightforward is not so easy. So, whenever such confusions are there, we should do what is right, not what I like. This is very important, right? So, and each one of us, we are not free from likes and dislikes. Just that intensity varies from person to person. But we all have our own likes and dislikes. So, we should not determine a certain action or speak certain words based on likes and dislikes. We should speak and perform action that which is right. That is indriya nigraha also in one sense, right? But there are some people, they say, Prabhuji, I am very clear, I'm straightforward. I speak everything that is there in my heart. I don't keep anything in my heart. I say everything. This only shows the lack of sensitivity actually in people. People have become so insensitive sometimes. They say that, oh, I speak everything, Prabhuji. I don't keep. This is not a virtue, it becomes a vice. If you simply speak everything that is there in your heart, it becomes a vice sometimes. Not everything is to be spoken. Sometimes certain things are not to be spoken. You should know what to be spoken and what not to be spoken. Very important. Right? But we are there, some people, immature people, they don't filter out what they speak. But a matured person, he filters out only that which has to be spoken. Very important. He speaks only that which is filtered out of his mind and gives a shape in the form of words. Then actions will follow automatically. It's very, very important. Very, very important. हम बहुत दिल का साफ है प्रभु जी, दिल का एकदम साफ है. अरे भैया दिल का साफ तो हो, बट यू आर ऑल्सो दिमाग का साफ. So that dil ka saaf and all will not really work. We should be very, very matured when we are speaking to people, not speak anything and whatever it comes, right? So when we are convinced about a certain value, we should also live by it, right? So when we're talking about Arjavam, slowly we should live by this. Once, because reversal is not possible. Certain thing, when you perform a certain action, reversing a certain action or reversing a certain word that you have spoken, it's not possible. It's like shooting an arrow. A arrow that is shot cannot be retrieved. Very, very difficult, right? So that is why Arjavam is very important. And it happens at different levels also. One is, you know, at a gross level, one is at the mind level, whatever is comes into mind, you speak out. Another thing is you perform action that is good, but your mind is wandering somewhere else. See, when some seniors, pujaris, sannyasis will come, anybody come, we do namaskara. We do, many people, especially in North India, they see some elders, they go and touch the feet. Now, you may go and touch the feet because they are elderly, but do you really respect them? You don't respect them, but you simply pay obeisances. So, your actions are something, your thought is something. Again, this is against the principle of Arjavam. So we have to be careful. We should not get into this kind of so-called forwardness, right? Arjavam is not that. We should be very sensitive to our people's thought and our thoughts also. Then Krishna is speaking something important. After Arjavam, what is Krishna saying? Krishna is talking about the next quality, and that is ahimsa. This is also very important subject matter to be discussed. Ahimsa. Many people talk about ahimsa, ahimsa, paramo dharma, right? Shastras say about ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-violence, non-injury is called ahimsa. Now, ahimsa, it can be at the level of thought, it can be level of the words, at the level of deeds, our actions. Because some people can be only non-violent at the thought level. Some people are non-violent at the words level. Some people are the non-violent at the level of actions. Right? So actually we should know what is this non-violence. Ahimsa means, see, when we talk about non-injury, not hurting someone, we should know something, that where is this coming from? Why do we hurt people, first of all? Because there is a negative mind. See, actually, what happens is whenever we think, you may have actually analyzed that also. We all may have found out this so far because we are all matured now. Whenever we hurt someone, we actually hurt ourselves. Somewhere deep within, it disturbs our mind. Thinking negative about someone disturbs our mind. It is very clear. So you may be thinking so much of negative about a person, but what is happening is we are actually disturbing our own mind. We cannot hurt others without hurting ourselves. Please understand this. Very important. And people who live with violence, they suffer the most. You look at this terrorist, so much they suffer. You see all these big war that is happening now, Iran and Israel, the Hamas, Hezbollah, all these terrorist organizations. First of all, their minds are not peaceful and they are so much negative. And what is happening ultimately? They give suffering to others, but they ultimately suffer themselves. Big wars happening, so many others are suffering in this world because of these people. See how a violent people create disturbance. So ahimsa is very important, because what happens is when you are negative, you create a hostile environment around you. Automatically that happens. And we attract a world which is negative. Because a positive person only attracts positive world. But if your own mind is negative, then we attract all the negativity around us. We create a world like that. You look at the saints, all the sadhus, sant, even in the most disturbing situations, they create an environment of peace because they are like that. They are very vibrant, they are spiritual. But a violent person, he cannot even sleep peacefully because constantly that thought is there, my enemies will come and they'll take revenge, right? So a violent person cannot be peaceful. So that's why Krishna is saying ahimsa. So we have to practice this not at the gross level, adibhautika level, not just at adhyatmic level or mind level, but adidevika level also. Because if you are violent at your thoughts, you're violent in your actions and in your words, then the world will be designed in such a way, or the world will give you or put us into wombs of violence. What are the wombs of violence? Tiger, lion. You are so violent. So nature will decide, and it will put us into the wombs of violence or violent wombs, you can say, in that way. But here you see, very interesting. This is a very big aparadha on Krishna also. They say, many people, Krishna is saying Arjuna to fight, but he's talking about ahimsa. And this is what many people don't like, especially there was an Orthodox church in Russia which was banning Bhagavad Gita because of this very reason. That this Krishna is actually a violent person. He's asking a very peaceful person like Arjuna to fight, isn't it? This Krishna is talking about ahimsa and asking Arjuna to fight, to, to create violence. He's such a hypocrite. People call Krishna as a hypocrite here because of this statement. So that's why we should understand not just actions but also intentions matter. Very, very important. See a soldier. A soldier, he actually goes and fights at the borders. He fights. He has to engage in violence. But that violence is for what? Intentions are not just to kill but to protect. That is Kshatriya spirit. A doctor, sometimes when we are suffering from some disease, some part of a body is totally diseased, and if we don't really operate it or they don't take it out, it will further spread. So what has the doctor has to commit some violence on this body. He has to cut off certain things, but that is for good. A mother sometimes hits the child, slaps the child, or scolds the child, creates certain type of violence, but that is for the good of the child, right? So, violence cannot be completely avoided, but we should know the intentions behind it. Very, very important, right? When we have given peace sufficient opportunities, and in spite of all that, it doesn't work, that is when danda is very important. Violence is important. It becomes necessary. Samadama danda bheda. So, punishment is required, violence is required when you have given all the opportunities for peace and it is exhausted, then there is no other way. You have to commit violence. Krishna gave so many chances to the Kauravas. He went with a peace proposal, right? But what happened? Shanti Duta, he went as a Shanti Duta, but that was ignored. Nobody took his advice. Finally, this had to come. So Krishna is not a hypocrite. He tried every way, every which way to actually pacify the Kauravas, to avoid the violence. But then it did not work. So sometimes a wound which doesn't heal has to be cut off. So for the protection of the samashti, totality, the destruction of vesti, a part, is important. So when you want to protect the full samaja, when you wanted to protect the whole society, you have to destroy a part of it. It's very important. They say sometimes, if you want to protect a village, you can sacrifice a family. If you want to protect a family, you can sacrifice a person in the family. Like that it is. Very, very important. That's why capital punishment is important when nothing works out, the peace doesn't work. So it is not considered as himsa. When you create this himsa, which is for dharma, Arjuna is not fighting war because he wants to get some pleasure or he wants to take some revenge, but he's fighting because he wants to establish dharma, right? So it is not himsa, it is actually ahimsa. So Krishna is not hypocrite. Then, what is the next verse? Next quality. The next quality Krishna is talking after ahimsa is satyam. See, satyam means truthfulness. This is also very important. Speaking truth. We have discussed this previously also, but you should know it is very difficult to speak truth sometimes, isn't it? In not all situations that we speak truth. There are some situations you have to lie, or you just cannot speak the truth. There are situations like that. It is very difficult. Now, speaking truth we know, but what happens if we don't speak the truth? What are the casualties of speaking lies that we should know? See, suppose there is a dishonest person, or if we are if we are dishonest, if we speak to person A is one thing, if we speak one more thing to person B, and we speak another thing to a person C, we have an extra burden to remember what I have spoken to ABC. Very difficult. This is the first problem of speaking lies. Speaking lies means when you start speaking lies, you have to cover up so much, and there is a burden on you to remember all that you have spoken to ABC, isn't it? It's a very big task, and you have to manage this person, that manage. Oh my God, it becomes a chaos. But if you speak the truth, no problem. Because you speak and you don't have to remember. The best part of speaking truth is you don't have to remember what you have spoken to all the people. But when you speak lies, then you have to remember so much. You may have experienced this. You have to remember a lot when you speak all lies. Very difficult. So, one important thing is you are becoming free from remembering what you have spoken. Advantage of speaking truth is you don't have to remember. Now, another thing is when you speak the truth, your personality integrates. You have a very integrated personality. But when people speak lies, their personality disintegrates. And this can become a problem. See, anything that disintegrates, it will destroy or it will get destroyed. Very important. See, when a family, there is a family, and there are a lot of lies going on in the family, that family will eventually disintegrate and automatically it will get destroyed. Same thing with the nation also. When there are a lot of lies spoken, there is a disintegrity in the society, in the nation also. You see, during elections, so much of lies that is spread across all nonsensical things. Politicians speak, all lies they speak, and they try to disintegrate the nation in the name of so many nonsense things, right? So lies disintegrates our personality, our family, and our nation also. Speaking truth is very important. It integrates everything, right? Very important. And a personality is amazing when you speak truth. We should know this. And a person one who speak lies, another major problem with such people who speak lies is they cannot trust anyone. They just cannot trust anyone because he's thinking that just like I am cheating others, I am speaking lies, so others are also cheating me. This is how he infers. This is very important to know. When a person burns his hand by keeping it in the fire, he has that idea of being burnt, experience of being burnt in fire. So similarly, when a other person is also trying to put his hand in the fire, he can experience, he can infer that he's going to burn his hand. Similarly, we should know such people who speak lies, they cannot trust anyone. What a tragic situation it is. It becomes so intense sometimes. I'll tell you, there are people, they just don't trust anyone. They don't trust their wife, their husband, their children. They don't even trust the barber who is holding the knife. Very difficult, very tough. It's a very tragic situation. So there is no trust. So such people who speak lies, they cannot trust anyone. It's a negative point actually. And people who are dishonest, they cannot be trusted also. Those who speak lies, people also don't trust them. When we were children, we had heard the story of a shepherd boy. And this shepherd boy, when he went out for grazing, taking all the sheep, he said, "Oh, there's tiger here." And everybody, all the villagers, they came running to protect. And when all of them they came, he said, "Oh, there is no tiger. I was just making fun." So they all went back. Next day, again he called, "Oh, there's a tiger here." This time only few villagers came. And he said, "Oh, there's no tiger." They all went away. Third day, actual tiger came and he called out, "Oh, tiger has come, tiger has come." No villagers turned up because they did not trust. They cannot trust also. This is what happens with us. When we speak lies, once okay, people may believe, they'll come to support. Second time also, they might try to trust you. But the third time, they will not trust us. So we should be very careful of speaking lies because we will lose the trust of people. And that is, we will lose our credibility, which is so important. People cannot trust us if we don't develop this kind of qualities, right? Another disadvantage of dishonesty, lies, is that we are training our mind to cheat. This is the dangerous thing. Where is the mind learning to cheat? Because of our own actions, our own words, our own deeds. Please understand this. So, what happens when we train our mind to think about cheating, telling lies? It will start projecting a negative world around us. It is like color blindness. People who are color blind, they cannot see a certain color. There are some people at the age of 60, 70, they get to know they're color blind. That means all that they were trying to understand about this world, their understanding of the world, until they knew that they're color blind, it was all false. Their decisions that they made, everything was false. So when we create or project a world of cheating around us, then automatically we will lead our life in the world of delusion. Our world will be fully chaotic. So what is happening is we are creating a world which is wrong, and we suffer because of our own actions, our decisions. We suffer. So a dishonest people, they actually dig their own graveyard for themselves. And ultimately, the truth is what? It is all coming because of our own negative mind again. But when we have a crystal clear mind, then there is no problem. A disturbed mind is actually preventing us from realizing the truth. And who has created this mind? We ourselves. We ourselves are training our mind. And ultimately, we create a world where we cheat people, and that ultimately comes back to us in a very ugly way. So ultimately, we are creating a devil inside us by creating and training a mind which is like a devil. Very important. Now, speaking truth is there. We have to speak. Satyam means we have to speak truth. But it is not just enough to speak the truth, but how we speak the truth is also important. Krishna speaks this in the 18th chapter. Anudvega hitam vakyam priyam. So, when we speak the truth, we should speak it in such a way that it is priyam. It is very, very pleasant. Now, speaking the truth in a pleasant way is also our responsibility, not simply speaking the truth and hurt others. Using appropriate words while speaking truth is also very, very important. But we don't use appropriate words. You know why? Because constantly we are thinking negative about a person. When we speak or think a negative about a person, we cannot actually speak. Even when we want to give a feedback, we will become very critical about it, and we speak it in a negative way. Many modern so-called psychologists and uh, self-help books talk about this, how to give a feedback. They talk about a sandwich method. What is a sandwich method? So when you train your mind of seeing people's good things. When we always see good things in people, so you have some appreciation for that person. You know that this person has some good qualities. So when you are constantly thinking about the good qualities in others, and by chance when that person commits a mistake, you don't become critical. What do you say? Actually, you know what? You did this thing very nicely. I really appreciate this. But this thing that you did, it could have been done a little better. This would really give a very good, nice output. If you can do like this, it will be very nice. And then, you know what you did the other day? That was amazing. You did a great thing that other day. So, what you're doing, you spoke something good, then you gave a feedback in such a way that he's not hurt. And then again, you are patching up by saying that other day you did something very nice. So, it is called a sandwich method. When you give feedback, when you become critical like this, the person who listens to this also will take your feedback in a very positive way. He will never criticize you back, or he will never have any negative opinions about you, or he never judges anything wrong about you. This is the way that we should give feedback to others. Very important. It's difficult to practice, but it is easy when we actually start looking at good things around us in people. Very important. Because your intentions are understood by other person. See, when our mind is constantly thinking negative, people can sense it. And similarly positive also. So when you're constantly looking at the positive things and aspects of the person, you automatically will see that they also respond in a similar way. Speaking truth means you should be very careful, use appropriate words. I told you, I think, the last time, a story of a king and two astrologers. A king actually called two astrologers. Okay? And one astrologer, he read the horoscope of the king, and then he said, "Oh, king, you have very little time." All no, no, he said, "You have such a long life, but the problem is, you will see that all your relatives and family members will die before you." That was a very negative statement. It was the truth only. But king got so annoyed, he put that astrologer into jail. Another astrologer was called. He saw the horoscope. Now, yes, the horoscope cannot be changed. So this astrologer also said, "Oh, dear king, you have such a long life that you will outpass all these other family relatives and everybody. You will live a very long life." Same truth was spoken, but the words were different. And king, he gave so much of uh, wealth and everything to this astrologer. You see, so what happens is you can speak the truth, but speaking the truth in a pleasant way, in the right, using the right words, using the right tone, using the right pitch, all this matters. And this is our responsibility to speak in such a way. Very important. So we have understood today about very nice qualities, divine qualities, arjavam, satyam, ahimsa, right? All of these things are a food for our thought. Contemplate, do manana on these different aspects, and see how you can implement in all of them in your life. You will see amazing, your personality will start integrating. You will see that you are growing as a person when you start actually implementing all these divine qualities. Okay? Any questions? Any questions about all that we have discussed today? Anything on YouTube? Listeners who are devotees who are listening on YouTube can also comment if you have any questions. And any questions? So there are altogether some 26 qualities. We have discussed about few qualities today, but in the next session we will be discussing something even more and try to see how Krishna is trying to give this wonderful knowledge to Arjuna and to all of us. Okay, so with this, we will end our session today and we'll continue from where we have left in the next session, next Sunday. Please take care. Hare Krishna.